Hello everyone, I'm Leon Thomas Lewick. Here's your political news roundup for Friday, June 10th. America's European allies got a scolding today from outgoing Defense Secretary Robert Gates. His message was that the United States is getting tired of taking on combat missions on behalf of European nations who don't want to share the risk or the costs. The Gates comments came during a speech in Berlin. He blasted cuts in defense spending by European countries. Gates said Congress and the American public will have what he called a dwindling appetite and patience for allies who are unwilling to devote their own resources. Gates, who retires at the end of the month, said unwillingness from European partners to play larger roles in the military campaigns in Libya and Afghanistan, for instance, have made those missions more difficult and shifted the burden to the United States. News organizations around the country are spending their Friday doing some light or maybe not so light reading. About 30 news reporters were on hand in Juneau, Alaska today for the release of former Governor Sarah Palin's emails from when she was in office. The emails, about 25,000 of them, were released in hard copy form only. You will have a chance to review them yourself. A number of news organizations say they'll scan the documents and make them available online. Republican presidential candidate Newt Gingrich is reassessing his campaign a day after about 24 of his top advisors banded together and quit. Gingrich is vowing to continue the campaign. The staffers chastised Gingrich for running a disjointed campaign, including a just-finished cruise to the Greek islands. The staff moves are also seen as a possible signal that Texas Governor Rick Perry might be getting serious about a presidential run himself. Two of the top resigned Gingrich aides are former Perry workers. Here's the latest on the Arab Spring uprisings in Syria. Government forces used mortar shells and guns to put down anti-government protests, with thousands of demonstrators once again in the streets. They're calling for the ouster of President Bashar al-Assad. At least 21 people were reported killed, and thousands of refugees were said to be fleeing into neighboring Turkey. In Yemen, meanwhile, government military attacks against protesters continued, even with President Saleh out of the country. He's in Saudi Arabia being treated for burns and other wounds suffered in an attack by anti-government protesters against the presidential palace last week. There are increasing calls from protesters that Saleh not return. The United States, meanwhile, is expressing concern that the power vacuum left by Saleh's departure could give al-Qaeda an opportunity to conduct terror operations more freely. That's your political roundup for Friday, June 10th. I'm Leon Thomas Lewick. Have a great weekend and stay logged on to rttnews.com for more on these and other political and financial news stories throughout the day.